Dmitry Bivol versus Artur Beterbiev. The trilogy is on. Yes, my people, the trilogy is on. The fight that most of us boxing fans wanted to see, we're gonna get it. Do you know what I mean? We're gonna get it. I'm gassed about it. I always wanted these guys to go back straight in there. Do you know what I mean? And close the chapter once and for all. Do you know what I mean? And listen, I'm sorry, man, to David Benavidez fans. Listen, it is what it is, man. You know, like they always say in boxing, no one owes you any favors. Do you know what I mean? It's just business. And Dmitry Bivol is making a business decision here, man. He could have fought David Benavidez to defend his WBC title. But he's like, you know what? Nah, man, there's more money fighting Artur Beterbiev. And also, there's legacy on the line. Do you know what I mean? These two guys, they've battled it out in two hard-fought fights. And in both fights, yeah, very debatable. The decisions could have went either way. Do you know what I mean? Artur Beterbiev got the decision in the first fight. Bivol got in the second fight. In exact same circumstances. Do you know what I mean? So it shows you the level that both fighters are operating. These are two elite guys. Do you know what I mean? Two world-class fighters. Probably like the best light heavyweight stuff we've ever seen. You know what I mean? Like, it's very debatable. There's other names out there. I can understand. Do you know what I mean? Fans might pick and choose other fighters and I get it. But Artur Beterbiev, Dmitry Bivol, you have to put them up there, man. Certainly for me, therefore top 5, man. Do you know what I mean? Top 5, you might have them on the top 10, whatever. But these guys are elite. That we can't deny. Do you know what I mean? And David Benavidez, listen, you just have to understand that this is how boxing works, you know? So, Dmitry Bivol relinquishes his WBC title. So, David Benavidez doesn't get that fight. But David Benavidez does become the new WBC light heavyweight champion. You know, some of us might not like it. Like me, I don't agree with that. Like for me, you have to fight for that title. Do you know what I mean? It's the same as what's his name? Daniel Dubois when he was elevated to IBF heavyweight champion. Do you know what I mean? You just go give him the belt because Usyk gave it up. You know, it's the same thing happening with David Benavidez. So he picks up the belt without fighting anyone. But he's going to have to defend it anyway as soon as possible. Probably going to have to be against Callum Smith. I think I like that Callum Smith fight. I feel like Callum Smith in the last fight against Joshua Buatsi fought really well, man. Solid performance. He showed me that he's got that dog in him because he was hurt as well in that fight. But you know what? He showed levels. And I think him and Benavidez make a good dancing partners. I think their styles will gel well together. And that should be a very fascinating fight. That's the fight that I want to see Benavidez in next. You know what I mean? Going back to Artur Beterbiev, Dmitry Bivol. Listen, Artur Beterbiev hasn't got much time left in boxing. He's 40 years old. Yeah, and in the sport of boxing, that's a granddad. Let's be real. That is a granddad. All these guys, David Chisora, Alexander Usyk, 39 years old, you know, what's his name? Joe Joyce, all these guys like 40 years old, 41 years old. Yo, bro, you man are the granddads of the sport. Do you know what I mean? Boxing traditionally has always been a young man's sport. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, we've got the likes of George Foreman. Do you know what I mean? A couple of other fighters in history, I'm sure you can tell me in the comments, that have defied that logic. Do you know what I mean? They've won world titles at the age of 45, 46. I get it. But trust me, these days with the conditioning, athleticism, nutrition, and everything that goes on in boxing here, these young guys are so well disciplined in terms of how they look after their body and things. Yo, they could put a hurt on these older guys. But then again, if you flip it, the older guys, because of the advances in science, in sports nutrition and everything else around sports, the advances that the sports has made, boxing, football, basketball, everything, the older you get, you can actually continue a little bit longer. Do you know what I mean? We see in football as well, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, these guys are still banging in goals. They're still carrying on, even though they're like nearly 40. Do you know what I mean? So sports has evolved and developed as well, yeah, in science and everything else. But It makes him more dangerous as well because these older fighters think, yo, I can carry on. I can have one more fight. At the same time, taking a lot of punches and that which surely long term is not good for them. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I say I'm happy that this fight is taking place now, straight away. Because what I didn't want to see is Bivol goes in there, fights David Benavidez, and it's a close fight, whatever, and he gets a cut, or he gets, let's say he wins, but then he gets a cut, he gets injured. Then he's out for like 8, 9 months, whatever, where he has to recover from that injury. Like, what does Beterbiev do? Do you know what I mean? What does Beterbiev do? Like, does he just sit around, wait, and be inactive at his age? Do you know what I mean? We already saw Beterbiev slow down in that second fight. Trust me, he couldn't sustain a high level of pressure like he could like 2-3 years ago. We saw that he slowed down and Bivol took over. Bivol showed his youth in that second fight. So can you imagine another 12 to 18 months layoff? Like sitting on ice, not doing nothing? Advantage Bivol, man. Do you know what I mean? Advantage Bivol, especially Bivol's got the youth. So I'm happy that these guys are jumping straight back in there because I know the fight is going to be competitive because I'm sure Artur Beterbiev still got something left in him. One last dance, one last performance for the fans. You know what I mean? And I know, yeah, outside of the hardcore boxing fans, like in terms of the purists, like, there ain't nobody really interested in this fight like that. Do you know what I mean? It's us, the hardcore fans, that we want to see this. And we can tell because we looked at the pay-per-view sales from the second match, the last Crescendo, 340,000 pay-per-view sold. Do you know what I mean? Between these two fighters. It just shows that the level of interest is not really in there. But us, the hardcore boxing fans, we demand this fight because we love the science, the artistry, you know, the pictures that these guys paint in the ring. These guys are masters. Do you know what I mean? Masters of the sport. Like, for me, when I'm watching these two guys, like poetry in motion, it is just beautiful. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people find, yo, Enzo, that's a boring fight, man. Nah. For me, listen, I don't mind a bit of blood. I don't mind a bit of slugfest. I don't mind people getting knocked out. I don't mind fighters going punch for punch and all that, slagging it out, you know what I mean? Punching each other from pillar to post in the ring and everything like that. Trust me, I'm all about that life too. I like that. But if we're talking like pure boxing, the science, the art, the beautiful game, whatever you want to call it, if you want to like play a tape and show it to kids, you know, if you're a coach, you want to play a tape and show it to kids and say, look, this is the example that you need to follow. Bro, you're not playing a tape, yo. Some guy like slugging it out, swinging punches everywhere, do you know what I mean, standing square and all that bad discipline. You're showing them Artur Beterbiev and you're showing them Dmitry Bivol. Because these are the two guys, yeah, that have set the levels high. The bar is high because of Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev. That's why you see, yeah, when they fight, when they meet each other, they're kind of cancelling each other out and people call it boring. Nah, it's just the fact that they're just too elite. They are levels above the rest. That's why they're cancelling each other out. That's why some people say, oh no, it's a boring fight, it's not exciting. Bruv, you must be dizzy, bruv. You must not understand how boxing goes. Do you know what I mean? Because for the people that really understand how boxing goes, when I speak to coaches, I speak to active fighters, retired fighters, they tell me, yo, that's what boxing is about. That is boxing at its purest form. Do you know what I mean? That's why for me, I want to see that fight again. And also, it just gives both fighters the opportunity to close the chapter. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, if Artur Beterbiev was to lose the trilogy, that's the game over for him. It's the end. It's done. Do you know what I mean? He can just sell to the sunset because he would have made a lot of money. And also, history will remember him fondly because the only fight he ever lost to was the second best guy in his generation that was good, like as good as him. Do you know what I mean? When I say second, I don't mean like it's Artur Beterbiev then Dmitry Bivol. I mean like the next guy next to him that was as good as him. That's the only guy he lost to. And also he beat Dmitry Bivol also. Do you know what I mean? So like they're kind of equal. So Artur Beterbiev will be remembered very fondly in history. Do you know what I mean? He can move on. For Bivol, obviously he's young. He's 33 years old. He's still got another 5 to 6 years left in boxing. The way he looks after himself, treats his body like a temple. So for Bivol, he moves on. He probably fights the winner of Callum Smith, David Benavidez, whoever wins that fight. They're going to fight it for undisputed. Do you know what I mean? And I make Dmitry Bivol favorite in that fight because he's that good. I rate him that highly. I have so much respect for him. I feel like his level's above everyone else. But Artur Beterbiev. Do you know what I mean? So I'm gassed. I'm happy as a boxing fan. This makes me really excited. And I'm looking forward to that fight. Do you know what I mean? People that are saying, yo, Bivol ducked Benavidez. Yo, you must be crazy, bro. Do you know what I mean? Dmitry Bivol ducked David Benavidez for what? Based on what skills or what? Do you know what I mean? David Benavidez go hard. Do you know what I mean? He comes out there, he fights to give his best, but trust me, he is not Dmitry Bivol's level. The fight will be competitive, it will be exciting, but trust me, eventually, yeah, my guy, Dmitry Bivol, will piss him up and he'll show levels. You know? That's all I'm saying. But listen, I'm looking forward to the trilogy between Dmitry Bivol and Artur Beterbiev. If you're gassed about it, if you can't wait to see that fight, let me know in the comments. And also, who do you think is going to win the trilogy, man? Do you feel like Bivol's youth is just going to be too much for Artur Beterbiev's old legs because he has slowed down? Let me know in the comments. I really appreciate it, man. Once again, thank you so much for watching EMGM Sports. I'm your boy Enzo. Please don't forget to smash the like button. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe because that's the only way you're going to help us to grow. I'll be back real soon with another one. Until then, stay blessed, my people. Peace.